What's up, y'all? It's Alexiana. Welcome back to my channel. Now, today's video, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing a response video to Anastasia, the teen heartthrob that had murdered this girl all because she had said no to him. Pretty much, she had rejected him and stuff like that. And pretty much the story tells the story of this college basketball player named Darius Miles, insert picture here, that earlier this year in January, he was accused of murdering this girl named, I want to say her name was Jolisa something, insert picture here. He had murdered her all because she had rejected him and stuff like that. And pretty much what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to play the whole video, but I'm going to play some of it and stuff like that. And I'm just going to, pause it and stuff like that and give my final thoughts on the whole situation. It's really messed up, you ask me. So here goes.
May have rejected advances from Darius Miles right before she was shot.
This is Darius Miles. In January 2023, he killed 23-year-old Jamia Harris near the University of Alabama campus, and his murder motive is outrageous, to say the least. Jamia's gruesome death shocked the community and everyone who knew Darius. He was the teen basketball heartthrob, not a psychopathic murderer. At least, not as far as people knew. But you know how it goes, you guys. Some of the worst killers hide behind a charming, popular facade. So, what led Darius to this horrific crime? Why did he rope another man into doing his dirty work? And what did poor Jamia do to push Darius over the edge? We'll explore these questions and many more in today's video. Today's story begins in Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham was once one of the richest cities in the United States, but that was a long time ago. Now, Birmingham juggles state-of-the-art museums such as the Museum of Art and the Civil Rights Institute with a growing crime rate. In 2023, it was reported that Birmingham has both the most dangerous and safest municipalities in the United States. So, yeah, it's a city of contrasts, but it's also a city with great universities and basketball teams. The prestigious University of Alabama is home to the Crimson Tide basketball team. In 2023, someone was a pretty popular face at Crimson Tide. 21-year-old Darius Miles was a talented, ambitious player with lots of fans and supporters. He just transferred from Washington, D.C., and he was showing a fresh kind of energy, the kind that promises greatness. Family was certain he would get to the top of the game in no time. In January 2023, however, Darius suffered an ankle injury that sidelined him for the rest of the season. And a few days later, Darius would sign the end of his career in the worst way imaginable. It was Sunday, January 15th, 2023, and 23-year-old Jamia Harris was enjoying a weekend out in Birmingham. Her mother said she was a beautiful young woman who loved her family and most of all her 5-year-old son, Kane. She was just trying to enjoy her weekend with her cousin that attends the University of Alabama and her boyfriend. Indeed, Jamia had a son during her teenage years. Although it was a lot of hard work to raise a child and get an education, Jamia was very happy to do both. She'd always been a hard worker and a kind, loving soul who wanted to help others. So when she decided she was going to have the baby, she promised herself she would give him the best life she could. Now she had a boyfriend, and the family felt almost complete again. So that weekend, Jamia and her boyfriend decided to drive up to Birmingham and meet Jamia's cousin, who studied at University of Alabama. After a full day of going out, chatting, reminiscing over childhood memories, Jamia and her boyfriend headed back to the Strip, the student-oriented business district of bars and restaurants around the Tuscaloosa campus. Jamia and her partner were chilling inside the car, with Jamia sitting in the passenger seat. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Bang! Someone shot Jamia in the head. She didn't even have time to realize what was happening. Imagine losing your girlfriend, daughter, or mom this way. Jamia's loved ones didn't understand what had happened either. They were shocked and confused. Who would want such a kind person dead? The situation got all the more shocking when the killer was revealed 2 days later. 21-year-old Darius Miles, the rising star of the Crimson Tide's basketball team.
6:14 now. New disturbing details emerging this morning in the deadly shooting of of a woman who police say was killed by a former University of Alabama basketball player.
As the police spoke to Jamia's mother, a very creepy story was revealed.
According to Harris's mother, DeCarla Cotton, a man approached her daughter and started flirting with her at the restaurant.
Side note, she did not cause the altercation. The victim is not responsible for getting attacked. It was creepy enough that Darius decided to hit on Jamia after seeing her with her boyfriend at a restaurant. What was he hoping to get out of this? Was he really thinking she would jump into his arms and ditch her partner? That night, Jamia and her boyfriend were enjoying dinner when Darius and his friend, Michael Lynn Davis, entered the restaurant. Darius kept hitting on Jamia, even though she made it clear she wanted nothing to do with him. Later, Jamia went back to the car with her boyfriend, but Darius continued to flirt with her. When Jamia told him to go away, Darius got violent. First, he asked her, "Don't you know who I am?" It's so disgusting that he thought he was entitled to any woman he wanted just because he was slightly famous. Then, something even worse happened.
Cotton says as her daughter and her boyfriend were leaving, a man shot multiple times into their vehicle. Harris's boyfriend fired back in defense.
A door cam caught the horrifying moment.
Oh my God!
The news reports quickly painted the sad picture of Jamia's murder.
Learned that the victim may have rejected advances from Darius Miles right before she was shot.
She sat in a parked car with her boyfriend and a cousin. One eyewitness says when she refused to talk to him, he persisted, telling her, "Don't you know who I am?" Then things turned ugly and a gun battle erupted.
Jamia died within seconds for rejecting an arrogant, sociopathic man. The Breakfast Club summed it up perfectly.
Rest in peace to Johnee Harris, 23 years old, mother of a 5-year-old, no longer here because of a man's fragile ego.
Imagine having to recover from something like this. Grieving is very hard, even when you've had time to prepare for it. But to lose a young loved one in an instant without a chance to say goodbye to them is truly awful. When Jamia's mom spoke to Inside Edition, she said she hadn't even broken the news to Jamia's 5-year-old son.
I know at some point he's going to want to know where his mom is. And when that time comes, I just don't know how I explain it.
Meanwhile, Darius made headlines with his emotional arrest.
Hey, no
For
need in
Jamia's
crying,
loved
now,
ones,
nigga. You
this
did
did
it.
not sit well.
It enraged me that he could cry to his mother after he took another person's life.
It was like Darius was stealing Jamia's thunder once more. He made this all about himself, painting himself as a poor man filled with guilt, or a basketball star who regretted throwing his career out the window. During his hearing, Darius shocked everyone by claiming he was innocent. You see, he was not the one shooting the gun that night. Reportedly, it was his friend, 20-year-old Michael Lynn Davis, who fired the fatal shot that killed Jamia, but it was Darius who provided the gun. Investigators say that Darius Miles admitted to providing the weapon used to kill Jamia Harris. Another man is accused of firing the gun and killing Harris near the university's campus. Miles, 21, a forward from Washington, D.C., and Michael Lynn Davis, 20, of Charles County, Maryland, are charged with capital murder in the death of Harris, who had a 5-year-old son. Somehow, Darius was trying to make himself look innocent, as if all it took to kill Jamia was his friend's last-minute decision. No, it was everything. His intent to hit on her, his persistence when she said no, his aggressive behavior, and his gun that he happily handed over to Michael. The more investigators dug into Darius Miles, the more questions they got. Why did this young man have such a fragile ego? Was his past trauma so horrible that he couldn't overcome his promising future? Just a week or two before the murder, the University of Alabama won against the
Damn advertisement.
Louisiana State University. Darius was praised for his excellent playing. Everyone knew him as hardworking, ambitious, and everyone thought his career would soon skyrocket. So with all of that ahead, why would he throw it out the window? Needless to say, people reached out to Darius's family for comments, but they declined to speak about his childhood. Darius's dad, David Miles, only posted this message on his social media. "Thanks for all the support. Lord knows we're going to need it. I know it's a daunting task, but if anyone that is a friend of Tracy, Darius, or mine that is financially capable to be in Tuscaloosa tomorrow when we go before the judge for support will be greatly appreciated. If you can't and you know someone in Alabama or Atlanta that can stand in your place, it will be appreciated. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a private person, but for my son's freedom, I have to fight for him. Thanks, and love you all. It might not be surprising that David chose to support his son and claim his innocence. Most parents support their children no matter what, but it was pretty strange that he never apologized to Jamia's family and everyone who suffered at the hands of his son. Darius's coach, Nate Oates, showed much more emotion about the tragic murder.
I just want to start today by offering our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Jamia Janae Harris, young woman, daughter and mother, was taken way too soon from a senseless act.
Nate said that as the investigation was still fresh, he couldn't share a lot of details with the public.
With this being a pending investigation, there's nothing I can add that hasn't already been shared. You may have some questions, but there's nothing I can comment on.
Darius was kicked out from the Crimson Tides, as you can imagine, but Nate worked very hard to regroup as soon as they could and let the team know they should stick together, even in really difficult times.
It's really a tragedy all around, but especially for Jamia and her family. Well, we got to pull together as a team at this point and have each other's, really be there for each other.
Darius never really imagined just how much suffering he could inflict. Jamia lost her life, but so many others were left in a state of shock, grief, or disbelief. Her family will forever have to live with a wound that cannot heal. His entire basketball team found it incredibly hard to get back on track. His family lost him too. He will probably be in prison for the rest of his life. And many people spoke about how scary it was that anyone could be a killer. How can you keep yourself safe when someone can just approach you and shoot you in the head?
Yeah, I've got 3 daughters. Went through my mind how easily could have been one of mine. Tough situation.
The only thing Nate revealed about Darius was that he dealt with a personal matter a few weeks before the murder in his hometown, Washington, D.C.
He actually went back home to D.C. to deal with the personal matter that he was out a couple weeks with. And he had the ankle injury that was kind of ongoing.
But as far as Nate knows, all of Darius's issues were unrelated to each other and Jamia's murder. On March 11th, 2023, it was announced that Darius Miles and Michael Lynn Davies were indicted by the grand jury on capital murder charges. By now, another worrying bit of information was revealed. Tuscaloosa police investigator Brandon Culpepper testified that Miles texted Tide freshman basketball star Brandon Miller to bring him his gun. Police have said another player, guard Jaden Bradley, was also at the scene. What were these boys doing that night? Was that a normal hangout for them? Hit on women in front of their boyfriends and carry guns? Hopefully that was just Darius. Nate Oates commented that the boys were well aware of the basketball team's strict gun policy. Our players are required to follow the university policy on guns, which essentially bans them on campus. However, the story is quite worrying.
Miller played a key role in the timeline of her. Police say Miller drove Miles to a nightclub that night and left a gun in Miller's car late at night. Miles texted Miller to bring him the gun. He does. Miles then gives the gun to Davis, who allegedly Jamia.
Still, Brandon and Jaden were not charged. In fact, they continued to play and score points throughout the season. Nate was called out on allowing them to play, but he explained his decision. It's been a difficult situation, as you understand. I mean, we're dealing with a criminal matter. This was a decision made based on all the facts we had with, obviously, my boss, Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne, his boss, President Director Stuart Bell, and the Board of Trustees. Nate even went as far as saying Brandon Miller was at the wrong place at the wrong time. The Alabama athletic director also said it was right for Brandon to go free.
What I have tried to think about this entire time is let's do what we think is right. What I felt is that Brandon needed to be treated fairly like any other student athlete.
Here's a video of Brandon Miller getting patted by his colleagues after he was at the courthouse to explain his actions. Ironically, this incident made him more popular. Meanwhile, DeCarla expressed her frustration with all the attention the basketball team was getting. She and her poor grandson were much more affected by Darius's teammates or coach. She hated how the news was centered around Darius or Brandon and his team rather than remembering Jamia.
As you watch what's happened to Brandon Miller, as he's been continued to be deified as this hero of basketball. How do you feel?
I mean, it's painful to watch. I see it every day. It's on the news every day. We just feel so disrespected and just, it's just painful just to have to hear about it and see it.
It's so sad to think that her son now has to cope with what truly happened to his mom. Thankfully, though, it seems that there will be justice for Jamia, even though the wheels of justice move slowly.
Now, Miles' bond hearing started at 9 o'clock this morning, while Davis, he's set for an arraignment and motion hearing that has now been pushed back to July 21st.
Darius Miles was denied bond at the end of May 2023.
Darius Miles will stay in jail for a little bit longer. This is the second time that the judge has denied his bond. Darius Miles' attorney shared impact statements from people who knew Darius best, hoping that would be enough to get the judge to set a bond for the Alabama basketball star.
Darius's parents moved from D.C. to Alabama to be next to their son for the whole duration of trial. But Jamia's parents also visit the courtroom every single time Darius or Michael appear before a judge. Imagine the tension in that courthouse. And it's all made even worse as there has been no apology from the Miles family. Jamia's loved ones have to live through hours of horrific witness accounts and relive their deepest trauma, while Darius's parents act like their son is a victim, wrongfully accused of murder. Only Michael Davis is responsible for.
As you can see in this video, you can see Jamia Harris's family exiting the courtroom. It was very emotional. She said that she wishes that her daughter was still here, but she is happy with the results of Darius Miles being denied a bond.
Not even the University of Alabama apologized to Jamia's mom. They didn't even reach out to her.
The University of Alabama says they're taking the case and the investigation very seriously, and you never heard from anybody.
No. Even the fact that my niece that was there goes to the University of Alabama. She's a student there. And they have just totally just dismissed our family like we don't exist.
It might be a while until DeCarla and her family get the closure they need to start healing their wounds. Until then, DeCarla wants to remind people about the undeniable danger of having a gun.
If there was no gun, there would be no crime. She would be here.
It's truly sickening that Jamia's tragic death somehow propelled Darius and his teammates to more stardom, and that DeCarla or Kane may never get an apology. It's unlikely that Darius or Michael will ever walk free again. But will there be any justice for Jamia when the Alabama basketball team seems to get more attention than Jamia herself? Hey guys, thanks for watching. As always, leave a comment and let me know what else you want to know about this case.
Alright now. Now, I know I said I was just going to play part of the video and pause and get my final thoughts, but the video was so intriguing I just had to play the rest of it. Now, in closing, I just want to say this. This case right here, this right here is the kind of shit that really pisses me off. Like, this is exactly the reason why so many females and men, but mostly females, this is exactly why so many females are afraid to reject men and stuff like that because of situations like this. Like, take Local Black Child, for instance, on YouTube and stuff like that. Take Gabby, aka Local Black Child, on YouTube. I remember she had put up a story a long while back where it wasn't a guy that was trying to hit on her. It was a stud, like a psycho stud that she had called her and stuff like that. And basically what happened was, like, the stud was all crazy and whatnot, all up in her face, said, "Do you have a boyfriend? Do you? And it just really just scared her, freaked her out to the point where she gave the girl her legit number, but she didn't give her her real name. She had said her name was Angela and had wrote her real number down and stuff like that. And the girl ended up never calling her anyway. She just wanted her number. And then the girl was like, "And when I call, you better answer too," and stuff like that. And, you know, the girl never called her and stuff like that. And before Gabby had got to that part, she had said anytime a guy asked her for her number, she had said she gives it to him. She said she gives him the right number because there are so many cases where guys have asked girls for their numbers and they've given them fake numbers, and the guy ends up calling the number right in front of them, realizing that it's fake, and things go left. So yeah, that's one instant. And my sister, shout out to my big sis, love you sis if you watching this. Like, same thing with my sister. Like, nothing tragic has happened to her and stuff like that about, you know, her rejecting guys or anything like that. But she has told me instances and stuff like that where there are guys she has rejected via Facebook and stuff like that. And some guys have even cussed her out. She said guys have blocked her and stuff like that. And yeah, like it's crazy. Like motherfuckers just don't know. Motherfuckers just don't know how to. Motherfuckers just don't know how to take no for an answer these days and time. And this is one case where a young lady lost her life. A young lady and mother lost her life because of one word. No. And it's sad. All because some spoiled ass, self-entitled ass, egotistical ass brat didn't understand the word no. Like, dude, I get that you semi-famous and stuff like that with this whole basketball career you got going on, but you ain't all that, my G. You're not. And Anna didn't say this in the video. They didn't dive into this in the video and stuff like that. But I imagine Darius grew up spoiled. And this is just my honest opinion. For those of you that are watching this, this is just my honest opinion. I imagine Darius grew up spoiled. And he was so used to people telling him yes and him getting his way all the time to the point where someone had told him no and he just couldn't handle it. And he just snapped and, you know, told his homeboy and stuff like that to go pull the trigger on that girl. And plus, in my Tracy from What's the Worst That Could Happen voice, you have no respect. Like, sir, you have no respect. The fact that you're asking this girl out in front of her boyfriend shows the kind of man that you are. Like, you have no respect, sir. Like, what if the tables were turned? What if this were your girlfriend and her boyfriend was asking her out in front of you? How would you feel? Man, I wish I was out my damn man and some nigga was trying to ask him out in front of me. Like, what the fuck? Like, sir, do you not see that he has a boyfriend right in front of you? Like, what the fuck? You have no respect. And plus, like, the fact, like, this goes to show you, Darius didn't give a damn about his friends. The fact that you had snitched your homeboy out and stuff like that says a lot about you. Like, oh, I'm not finna take the fall. I'm gonna let my homeboy take the fall. Like, really? And let alone, with his homeboy, you think you would have been the level-headed one out of the bunch and be like, hey, man, let it go. She don't want you and stuff like that. She obviously has a boyfriend. Let's just go. Let's just let it go and move on. You think he would have done that, but you gave in to peer pressure. You allowed him to talk you into committing a crime, and now look at you. Both of y'all behind bars for God. Both of y'all behind bars for God knows how long. And it's just sad. The story is just so sad because not only did a family lose their daughter, but a young man lost his mother. A young 5-year-old man lost his mother. And like Jalicia's mother had... Jalecia. I think that's her name. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. Jamisha or Jalecia. Jamisha or Jalecia, whatever her name is. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but I just hope I'm saying her name right. But Jalicia's mom even has said in the interview that she doesn't know how she's gonna break the news to her 5-year-old son, like about she doesn't. I do not know what that dang noise is, but whatever. Like I was supposed to say, like, with Jalicia's 5-year-old son and stuff like that, the mother even has said in the Inside Edition interview that she doesn't know how she's going to break the news to him. Like, when he asks questions about where his mother is, she doesn't know how she's going to break the news to him. And that breaks my heart, too. Like, this little boy is going to grow up not knowing who his mother is and what happened to her. And that's all the way sad. And the advantage that the Miles family has over Jalicia's family is that your son is very much alive. Y'all get to see him every day if y'all want to. With Jalicia's family, they're not so lucky. They have to see their daughter at the cemetery. That's just sad, man. Like, no means no. No means no. Like in my Lunette the Clown voice. No, well, this is Lunette's voice, but Lunette the Clown on Big Coming Couch even sung it. No means no. No means no. No means no means no means no. Or the Meghan Trainor song. My name is no. My sign is no. My number is no. You need to let it go. You need to let it go. Need to let it go. Nah to the I to the no, no, no. Like, no means no. And this is some advice and stuff like that for guys and girls that don't know how to take no for an answer. If you're hitting on a girl, better yet, if you're hitting on a woman, or if you're hitting on a man, and you see that he or she is not interested, stop. Let it go and move on. Especially if they're with their boyfriend or girlfriend, because that's disrespectful. If you see they're not interested, stop. Take a hit and move on and go on about your business. Don't keep trying to pursue them in hopes of them changing their mind, because it's not going to happen. And I can understand why Jaleesa had told him to go away after a while, because you keep pushing up on me, dude, and you see I'm with my boyfriend, I'm not interested. Like, leave me alone. And the fact that you had said, do you know who I am? Like, dude, you ain't shit. I don't give a damn if you motherfucking Morris Chestnut, my nigga. If I'm not interested, and plus I'm with my boyfriend, leave me the fuck alone. Go on about your business. And it's the fact that maybe possibly he grew up spoiled, and with him having a basketball career and stuff like that, he was so used to girls, telling him yes and him getting his way and girls flocking to him, to the point, like I had said, that when someone finally told him no, he didn't know how to handle it. Like, no means no. Had you would have just took the no and gone about your business, this girl would have been alive. But you decided to be a self-entitled, spoiled brat and let it get to you and stuff like that, and pull a trigger, and now look what happened. You're behind bars for God knows how long. You're off the basketball team, possibly lost your scholarship. All because of what? Because your self-entitled, spoiled ass did not know how to take no for an answer. Just sad. Just sad. But all in all and stuff like that, those are my final thoughts on the whole situation. And it's just sad that this young lady just lost her life because she said no. And for what I'm about to say before I close out this video, this goes to all the parents out there that are watching this video. Be careful about spoiling your child at a young age, because when they get older, they're going to expect that still from the world. And if you don't tell them no now, there's somebody out there in the future that's going to tell them for you. And when they do, all hell's going to break loose. Because they're so used to hearing yes all their life, to the point where when someone finally tells them no, all hell's going to break loose, and they're probably going to do the unthinkable. So yeah, that just about concludes this video. Like always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to insert my social media handles over here, as well as in the description box down below. So feel free to add and follow me on those. Also, don't forget to turn on post notifications, because if you don't, what's the point? Anyways, until next time, peace out. And no means no. No means no. No means no. No means no means no means no.